Hello and welcome to this Red Gamer Tech video, myself and Marta, where unfortunately I seem to be coming down with a cold, so I am a little bit hoarse and sniffly today. I am pretty much overloading my body with vitamin C, so hopefully it will pass, but for now I do apologise for the rather grating sound of my voice. Anyway, we have for you today an absolute crap ton. Yes, a crap ton is an official measurement, look it up. Of Intel news, as we had a bunch of stuff revealed at a press event. So, let's start off with something by the name of Sunny Cove. Now, they also had the updated core roadmap for 2019 to 2021. Now, you may remember some time ago I discussed how Intel would be splitting its core product lineup into two branches, general purpose and special purpose. And Sunny Cove kind of brings these two together and actually brings us a nice improvement from Skylake. Now, before I get into specs and all that sort of stuff that they may or may not have discussed, we do have an official blurb where they said, quote, Intel introduced Sunny Cove, Intel's next generation CPU microarchitecture designed to increase performance per clock and power efficiency for general purpose computing tasks and include new features to accelerate special purpose computing tasks like AI and cryptography. Sunny Cove will be the basis for Intel's next generation server, Xeon, and client Intel Core processors later next year. We see enhanced microarchitecture to execute more operations in parallel, new algorithms to reduce latency, increased size of key buffers and caches to optimize data-centric workloads, architectural extensions for specific uses and algorithms, for example, new performance-boosting instructions for cryptography such as vector AES and SHA-NI, and other critical use cases like compression and decompression. Sunny Cove enables reduced latency and high throughput. So there's a whole lot of words that is kind of dumped in your head like so much confetti there, but what do we actually have in terms of raw specs, raw numbers, because obviously that is kind of what we care about the most here. We have a 50% increase in the size of the L1 data cache, and we also see a larger L2 cache as well. They also feature a large operations cache and a larger second level translation look-aside buffer. And what does that actually mean? Well, a processor that has received a significant increase in key structures and can execute code with more depth than Skylake, and they're also going to be wider than Skylake as well, as they have 5 wide allocations instead of 4 and 10 execution ports instead of 8. They've received 2 times the L1 store bandwidth. We have 4 AGU instead of 3 and 2, and we also see some nice improvements in execution capability. We also see SIMD, shuffle, and LEA units added to the vector and integer blocks. Now, Intel was really keen to point out in that blurb that I just read out a moment ago how important algorithms here, and we do see an increase in branch prediction accuracy, and we also see a reduction in effective load latency. Now, one thing I do need to mention, speaking of branch prediction, because I'm sure the word spectre is in your mind like a ghost. That was a terrible pun, I am sorry, barely qualifies as a pun. Anyway, hardware mitigations for Spectre version 1 are already shipping, and Sunny Cove will have hardware mitigations for Spectre version 2, so have no fear if you're worried about that. That is going to be included in this particular processor. So I also mentioned there a roadmap that Intel had for us. We will see Sunny Cove first in 2019, which again will have that improved single thread performance, scalability, and so on and so forth. Next up, we're going from that to Willow Cove. Apparently we've moved from lakes to coves now. That's Intel's new thing. That's going to be coming sometime in 2020, with a cache redesign and more security features. And finally, we're going to see Golden Cove debuting itself in 2021. Now, that's not the only thing that was unveiled at Intel's Architecture Day, as we also have some Gen 11 10nm graphics details. Now, unsurprisingly, this is a mobile GPU, but it is going to be their very first T-flop capable GPU. Now, I do have a lovely statement here from Intel as well. It reads, quote, Intel unveiled new Gen 11 integrated graphics with 64 enhanced execution units, more than double previous Intel 9 graphics, designed to break the 1 T-flops barrier. The new integrated graphics will be delivered in 10nm based processors beginning in 2019. The integrated graphics architecture is expected to double the computing performance per clock compared to Gen 9 graphics. with over 1 T-flops performance or capability. This architecture is designed to increase gameplay ability. At the event, Intel showed Gen 11 graphics nearly doubling the performance of a popular photo recognition application when compared to Gen 9 graphics. Gen 11 graphics also expected to feature, an advanced media encoder and encoder supporting 4K video streams and 8K content creation in constrained power envelopes. Now that 1 T-flop cannot be overstated, I think, as to its importance, because that means you can play most games at low medium settings at 1080p, and that probably sounds like chump change. Those of you, an RTX 2080 Ti in your machine or whatever, it is still a huge upgrade over the last generation. And another thing that is really going to help Intel out here when it comes to showing how far they have come with this particular processor is the fact that it supports adaptive sync, as well as support for HDR, high resolutions, multi-display, and HEVC encoding. Now what's interesting here, and what may surprise you, is this is actually Arctic Sound. It's now known as Intel Xe, but this was what was previously known as Arctic Sound or Gen 12. Unfortunately, details were rather thin on the ground, other than what I've already discussed, but Intel have said that we're going to be seeing Xe architecture units across the whole market, including integrated data center as well as consumer products, and unsurprisingly those last two are going to be very separate microarchitectures. But that is not the final thing from Intel. Oh no, they had quite a lot to share with us. Unsurprisingly, this was an entire day of just having information just poured directly into your brain. And the next time we have Foveros. Now, I'm just going to say right off the bat that I'm most likely mispronouncing that, but, it's fine? Question mark? Anyway, what we actually have here is a new way to stack 3D chips with an active interposer. Essentially, a new approach to heterogeneous system integration, and kind of is their successor to EMIB. Again, got a bit of a statement here for you, so buckle in. Quote, Foveros paves the way for devices and systems compiling high performance, high density and low power silicon process technologies. Foveros is expected to extend die stacking beyond traditional passive interposers and stacked memory to high performance logic, such as CPU, graphics, and AI processors for the first time. The technology provides tremendous flexibility as designers seek to mix and match technology IP blocks with various memory and I/O elements in new device form factors. It will allow products to be broken up into smaller chiplets where I/O, SRAM, and power delivery circuits can be fabricated in a base die, and high-performance logic chiplets are stacked on top. Intel expects to launch a range of products using Foveros beginning in the second half of 2019. The first Foveros product will combine a high-performance 10nm compute stack chiplet with a low-power 22FL base die. It will enable the combination of world-class performance and power efficiency in a small form factor. Foveros is the next leap forward following Intel's breakthrough embedded multi-die interconnect bridge, or EMIB, 2D packaging technology introduced back in 2018. So essentially here we've gone from 2D to 3D, and again we have very high density interconnect, and we have chiplets being connected in a package, with the seamlessness of a monolithic die. Now there's going to be various slides on screen, but sort of TLDR of how the Foveros layout design actually works is the compute chip and IP blocks are put into place using FTF micro bumps on the active interposer through silicon vias, and are drilled to connect with solder bumps, and of course obviously the actual final package. And if these images kind of ring a faint bell, they should, because they reminded me very much, at least a little, of the heterogeneous design featured by AMD, and most likely going to be several comparisons drawn, but obviously that is kind of the nature of things. Once you release a product out into the wild, there's nothing to stop anyone going, hey, that's a good idea, but what if you did that, but then did this as well? And that's kind of what Intel have done here, at least from what I can understand. So some very interesting stuff. The star of the show, I would say, is definitely going to be Arctic Sound, or Intel Xe as we now know it, and Sunny Cove, but I'm definitely interested in Foveros because obviously, well, this is not going to be, as exciting, I guess I was supposed to say, as a whole new product line or whatever. It is going to be the basis for a lot of cool stuff that we're going to be seeing in the future, and I always find it fascinating how we see like the stuff that the building blocks that we kind of build technology on kind of improves and changes over the years, and obviously this is just a significant improvement over what we have seen, as Intel are obviously touting it as the first hybrid x86 architecture. So that's me done for this video, guys. A absolute ton of Intel news, as I already said. So thanks for watching, guys. Your support really does mean a huge deal to both of us. Bye bye.